Tyson. Tyson, that's 2 votes Tyson. Tyson, that's 3 votes Tyson. 1 vote Nick, 1 vote Kim. 5th person voted out of Survivor, Winners at War. Tyson, that's 5, that's enough. Need to bring me your torch.
It's too easy, I should have seen it coming. Sorry, brother.
Tyson, the tribe's spoken. Time for the go.
Welcome to Surviving Survivor Winners at War, Episode 4 recap, I Like Revenge. On this episode, we're going to get to see a lot of determination, and we're going to get a special visit from a guy that knows exactly what it's like to live life on the edge. Sit tight. What's going on, talent recappers and Survivor fans? I'm your host, Lauren Beck from Season 39, Island of the Idols. And today we're getting a visit from a man that knows just what it's like to live life on the edge. Season 38, Edge of Extinction winner, Chris Underwood. Chris, how are you doing today, sir?
What is going on? I'm doing great. It's a little rainy here in South Carolina, but I can't complain, and I am super stoked to talk to some Survivor with you today. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get right into it. So, Chris, I want to know, so far, we're at Episode 4. What are your overall thoughts of the season this far?
I am such a fan of this season. Like, it is amazing. The fact that I'm watching people and players that I grew up adoring, like greatest of all time. I'm serious. Half the cast out there, at one point, I either had a crush on or just fanboyed over so hard. And it's so great to see all these players just having their different personalities and different strategies interact with each other. It's really, really good TV, and it's really good gameplay. So I cannot wait for the rest of the season. I'm super stoked on it.
I totally agree. From one fanboy / fangirl to the next, I am right there with you. We have so many things to unpack, Chris, so let's get right into Episode 4, I Like Revenge. We open up where Sele just got back from Tribal.
Now you see what happens if you leak information from our alliance.
Right. I was just castrated in front of everybody. I pooped my pants tonight. I survived by 1 vote.
Now, I feel like everything is completely changed, so I need to make an apology tour.
I'm certainly not going to go back with Rob and Parvati. I will not work with him. I will not work with Parvati. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We see Adam sort of going on an apology tour for throwing Parvati's name out there. What do you think about apology tours?
Oh,
We're
yeah.
just getting you with that hard-hitting question right off the bat.
I think it works, but it really has to be done the right way, and it has to be done with the right people. The apology tour is more of something it's not as much about what is said, it's who it's being said to and the personnel. And if you're playing with incredibly strategic individuals like Rob or Parvati or Jeremy, who just has a 20,000-foot view of the game, they don't really work. They can come back and totally bite you, as we saw in the last episode. Like, Adam, good luck, but I will say this: we know that the merge is coming, so you really lucked out on that one, and hopefully a tribe swap will change up the dynamics of what you're dealing with.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree. I feel like it's hard after you've already broken that trust to sort of rebuild that trust. So Adam definitely has an uphill battle, but I'm rooting for him. I hope he pulls through.
Soup, coconut soup. No, it's good. It's delicious. No, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so I want to move into DeCall. So we open up to them. They're thriving. They're eating fish. They're laughing. They're all kumbaya. Do you feel that going into the challenge, that's sort of a setup, like feeling too comfortable before you go to a challenge?
Yeah, it's very dangerous. I think even looking back, like when I got voted out in my season, when War Dog kind of flipped the script, I thought we were going towards either Wendy or Kelly. And honestly, it is dangerous if everyone is super kumbaya, because there are lines in the sand. Like there are divisions that are happening, and you have to be super perceptive of that. And if you have too much, think too highly of yourself, kind of a little arrogant. I think Tyson may have been a little arrogant, didn't see it coming. It was tough. But yeah, if you're too good everyone's on the same page, then something is off.
Something
and that
is
should
off.
be
Nothing
an
is
indicator.
ever that sweet or that easy, and we're going to talk more about that later. But let's talk about the edge of extinction and that amazing moment, probably one of the most inspirational moments that we've seen on the season.
Oh my gosh.
Can stop.
Your blood pressure is low, and if you're feeling faint, then it's likely that you will faint. Like, it doesn't get better from running up and down.
I wanted to set a good example for like everyone who's been through a health challenge and thinks they can't do it anymore. Like, you can do it.
So just to give you guys a little perspective, in case you missed the episode, each of the Edge castaways had a chance to own or earn a fire token by taking 20 trips up a mountain. They had to get one log at a time. They couldn't take more than one and had to complete it all by sundown. I don't think people realize, or maybe they do, how difficult that actually is.
Sitting here, being one of the few people on this planet that knows how strenuous that hike is, I legitimately got emotional watching it, because I remember the feeling, and I only did it, the most I did it in a day was maybe 3 times. And I was like, I will never do that again. The rest of my time out here, I'll only make one trip up that mountain in a day. And they had to do it 20 times.
20 times. And this is the thing they don't understand. My husband was kind of laughing at me yesterday when I was watching the episode, because after they complete it, you see Natalie and Amber sort of breaking down and crying. And I'm sitting there like, you don't get it, babe. It's really hard. Like, just that moment of release and being like, I actually did this. It's unreal. And I want to commend them, because that is something that's hard. Like you said, 3-4 times a day, you're beat. 20 times, I cannot even imagine.
I have so much respect for Ethan, Amber, Danny, and Natalie. Like, I know what that feels like, and I'm so proud of them for finishing that, because it was something special to watch.
See, and this is why it's so great to get your perspective, Chris, not only because you won, because you've lived life on the edge. You know what it's like, and having no food and no water, it's very difficult. I want to talk about that human moment between the 4 of them on Edge, where Ethan was going to take his last trip, and they all decided to go up with him. What did you think about that?
I thought it was beautiful. Seriously, the Edge of Extinction is so lonely, and it's the island of dejected players. I mean, you're at a really like emotional low, and the only thing you have is each other to kind of get through those tough moments. And the fact that they all went together, it just like proves you can go so much farther when not alone. I mean, it's a beautiful kind of, it's just a beautiful example or metaphor of life, but they really banded together. And yeah, the difference is there's obviously jury management that goes on, right? Like,
Sure.
You're still in the game, and there's obviously strategy, but I think what's super important is the fact that they're in such a mental space that's just so different than anything they've ever been in, even as winners who've never been voted out.
That's very true.
They are like at the bottom of the bottom, and they realize that the only way they can get to the next day is to help encourage each other and make sure that they have each other's best interests in mind. And that's a really special thing that the Edge does, is it just brings people so close because they have nothing, and they're all they're battling so much internally. It's a highly emotional place. And I know how those tears felt, like Natalie and Amber and all those people. Like, I was there. I felt them. So it was a great, beautiful, beautiful episode. I'm like, if anyone's like, do you feel like you deserve to win? I'm like, did you watch that episode? Like, oh my gosh, just go back. That is the epitome of the Edge of Extinction and like my 28 days there. It was, man, it's crazy.
Oh my God, 28 days. That is unreal. Yeah. I mean, and I just want to give another special shout out to Ethan. He really made everyone feel like anything is possible. Over at Cele, we see Boston Rob start this rumor that Adam is now trying to get back in cahoots with he and Parv. Would you believe something that Boston Rob told you?
I could just go to Sid and Jeremy right now. He's already trying. I could just go and make the story up.
Adam's not saying anything. That's fine. What should I do about Adam? Because he keeps trying to talk to me. You know what I mean?
That would be tough. He's such a good player in that he understands the power of honesty, and he also understands the power of a good lie.
Right.
And that's like a super dangerous combination, is when to turn on being truthful and when to turn on being deceitful. And there's no one that does it better than him. Like, I couldn't pull off lying nearly as good as Boston Rob. I never want to go into a lie contest with that man, because he's just like,
he's so smooth,
subtle. He's so smooth.
Yes, and you can't tell that he's lying. Like, it's very conversational. And Jeremy, they didn't pick up on it. They were just like, oh,
nope.
Really? Like, he's going back. Okay, like, Adam keeps lying. And you cut to that confessional of Michelle being like, I can't trust Adam.
Wow, Adam went and opened his big mouth again. He's playing both sides over and over and over again. I'm so sick of it.
Right off the bat, they believe Boston Rob. So then we move over to DeCall. Tyson goes to Sandra and Tony, trying to present this sort of new alliance.
The people who are not connected are pitting us against each other. They want the people with connections gone.
I'm pretty much just listening and saying like, oh, for real, dang. But it's shady and it's a lie.
Do you think Tyson sort of made a hiccup by, in last episode, telling Yul, we need to go for Sandra, and now he's trying to align with Sandra? Oh,
yeah. It was the problem is the beach isn't big enough for that many egos.
Agreed.
I mean, it's not big enough for that many egos. And if you are putting yourself up on a pedestal as someone's like, I called the shots in my last season, I know how to win, I know how to play the game, like, you don't realize that everyone else has, one, seen you play, two, knows the charisma and the personalities and the character that you are, and three, also won the game, so they also know a different strategy and a different point of view to get them farther. And you just cannot go back and forth between players and voting out and assume that you're good. Assume that it's your laugh and your joke's gonna push it under the bridge. Like, building trust is so difficult and it's so easy to lose. You've really got to be careful when you're playing Survivor.
I totally agree. I definitely agree. It's definitely a hard dance, it's a hard battle to figure out. So we move into the challenge.
Who are you going to sit out of this challenge? Sandra, you didn't even hesitate raising your hand.
I don't mind.
You're going to rename her bench, Jeff? The Sandra bench?
We see Queen Sandra sit out again. And I want to talk to you about this because you're not allowed to sit out back to back. Are the rules just rewritten for Winners at War? We've got Sandra sitting out, Tony sitting out.
Can we retweet this at Survivor CBS?
Yes.
What is going on with the sit-out rule?
Yes.
How is she getting to sit out every single time? I when our season was on, it was, you couldn't sit out one after the other. You had to alternate. She has literally not played a challenge yet.
Ours was the same, and that was actually my question. And my husband and I, when we were watching it, it was like, oh, well, maybe they had a reward, but this challenge was immunity and reward. So we were thinking maybe they didn't air a reward that they showed, and then she played, and then maybe didn't play, but I don't know if that's what happened. I'm down for the Queen's Throne. I kind of like that she just raises her hand and sits out, and no one questions her. Everyone just
owns it.
Yeah, I love it.
She owns it.
Queen stays queen. Okay, so then we see Sully win, and one of the most epic Survivor comebacks. What is Jeff-ism for? This is a Survivor lap on steroids. Give me your best Jeff-ism.
All right, let's get to it. First things first, Sarah, got to take it back.
I'll just do this one. I'll do a classic one. Go. Survivor's ready? Go!
Survivor's ready!
Go! He's got that he just does it like bumpa bumpa ba. You can almost sing his Jeff-isms.
You literally could, and it's so cute because he gets so excited. Like when the puzzle was changing, you could see him just getting so amped on the fact that he's like, all right, and just like that, we're back in it. We're back in a challenge. We have a standoff, and I'm like, I love this man. I just love it.
Yes,
he gets so enthused.
Great.
Okay, so they were in dead last. We see Sele come out on top. They finally win. No tribal for them. This is another question I have. The immunity skull that is given to you, there are 2 fire tokens in the eyes. Are those for design Are those actual, and viewers at home, we want to know what you guys think. Are these actual fire tokens that you can use in the game? Have you seen these, Chris?
I have seen them, but I did not put the pieces together till just now. And I honestly think that those are up for grabs if someone sees them and takes them off.
Yeah, like, and I thought the first person that would notice, because they're very observant, would have either been Natalie or Adam. But I'm interested to see who's going to find those fire tokens and how they're going to come into play. All right, so let's move into our next segment, and that is called Snuff. All right, so Tyson ends up getting his torch snuffed, and I want to talk about sort of what led up to that sequence of events. We touched on it a little bit in the beginning, and it was that Tyson was very comfortable, and he's like, oh, it's easy, it's Nick. Why do you think Tyson ultimately got his torch snuffed and was sent to EOE?
It was pretty obvious. Three main reasons. First reason, connections. Second reason, charisma. And third, ego. Yeah. I mean, just out of tune with the gameplay, and thought that he had everyone in his pocket because of his jokes and his personality. He didn't even realize that it was way more of a problem than it was bringing the tribe or his alliance closer together.
For a second there, though, I did think that Tyson may have had some leeway, because you see him talking to Tony.
You and I would have really gone after each other, and we would have gotten popped. Let's say I went the first vote.
And then I go next one.
And you go next.
They got the numbers.
Now they've got the numbers whichever way they go.
Tyson goes home tonight. Where does that leave us? Me, you, and Sandra. Our only shield in this tribe right now is Tyson.
And then he runs to Sarah, and Sarah's like, oh my God, if Tyson goes home, then we are gonna be the big fish. But I felt like it was just too obvious. And I do think, and Survivor fans at home, for those of you that are new, if ever you feel too comfortable, you're probably going home. And it's the reality, and that's what sucks.
Yep.
And I think that, especially as winners, I guess I would have thought that Tyson would have been like, oh wait, like this seems too easy. Why is everybody yes-manning me, you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. When you see that, you gotta be careful. If it's too easy, it's too easy.
Right, it really is. Yeah, I agree. So Tyson bequeaths his fire token to Nick, which I thought was very sweet, because he was like, this is a token from your hero. Did you expect Tyson to give his, bequeath his fire token to Nick?
I didn't. And I also wanted to talk through what was Nick's logic in voting for Kim?
Okay, this is what it was, I think. They wanted to throw a vote on Kim, a vote on Nick, and the rest on Tyson, just in case Tyson had an idol. So then that way, Kim would have gone home, because Kim is in that poker alliance. She's tight with Sele, right? So they threw a vote on Kim, because in the event, I think they want to keep Nick as a number. They said they don't see Nick as a threat, which I think is a mistake, but they wanted to throw an extra vote out there just in case Tyson was safe. So then they would send Kim home to EOE. Does that make sense? I think that's
that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Who would have come up with that plan? I guess someone would have told Kim to vote Tyson, and she was okay with it, and then another group that was in Nick's alliance would have told him to vote Kim.
I think it's that 5, that Nick, Tony, Sarah, Sandra, Yul, and I think Sophie's in there. And I actually want to talk about that moment too, where Tyson's like, yeah, I'm a part of a 5, and he names all 4, and then he's like, and Sophie, she's so under the radar, I forgot her name. I'm like, what is going on?
Sophie, so under the radar that I did not even know her name.
Yes. That is, you know what that is? That is proof that Sophie is playing a great game.
She really is. That under the radar. He didn't even know. He was like, and there's another one, but I'm not sure. Such a good moment. So Tyson goes home. He goes to EOE, so there's still another shot for him to get back in the game and maybe win, right, Chris?
It's true. There's a 1 in 20 chance for every player on the island right now to win.
It can happen. Okay, let's move into our next segment, Player of the Week. All right, Chris, who is your Player of the Week?
I would have to say that my Player of the Week has got to be... It's got to be Ethan. It's got to be Ethan. It's not something where it progressed strategic gameplay. It's not something where, someone got voted out or went home because of his scheming. It's just so refreshing to see so much heart play out on television and to know how that feels. Personally, player of the week, Ethan, congratulations for getting up that mountain, man. That was huge.
I definitely agree, and it's so funny because my player of the week is also from Edge of Extinction. I want to give some love to Natalie, who has been dominating. This girl is a beast. Like, she is playing from the edge. She has the most fire tokens. Her going up the mountain was like watching Goliath climb it. Like, it was just something like I've never seen before, and she never allowed her determination to waver, and she beasted, and she's just been killing it. I would not be surprised if Natalie makes it back into the game.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I also would be wary because she's so good. There may be a chance that someone throws a disadvantage on her.
Oh,
to level the
I
playing
didn't even
field.
think about that, Chris.
Yeah, from personal experience, that happened in my season.
Yeah.
And it cost the first chance. Everything worked out how it was supposed to, obviously. But yeah, that disadvantage in the first round of getting back to the edge is what kept me on there for another 14 days.
Whoa. Okay, well, fingers crossed that does not happen to Natalie or Ethan.
Yeah.
We're definitely pulling for both of them. They're amazing players. And Ethan, it goes without saying. All right, so now we are going to move into some questions for Mr. Edge of Extinction himself. I hope it doesn't offend you, Chris, when I say that, because like when I think of EOE, obviously I think of you. That was your season, right?
Mr. EOE. I don't hate it.
Okay, good.
I say Mr. EOE.
All right, Mr. EOE. So your fans have questions for you. The burning question that I got the absolute most of was, will you play Survivor again?
Good question. I think that any season or any time a player is asked, the timing has to be right.
Sure.
And I would have to say, to answer your question, if the timing is right, I would love to play Survivor again. It hasn't been right in the past, and that's okay. And we're moving forward from it. But if there's another opportunity to play this game and the timing is right, hell yeah, count me in.
I love it. We would love to see you back out there. Okay, so this can get a little touchy, but I have to ask, what do you say to all of the naysayers that say, oh, Chris was on EOE most of the game, he didn't deserve his win, which I don't believe that. Rob even said it in this episode. If you won, you won, controversy or not. What do you say to the people that say that you didn't deserve to win?
Yeah, I came out of that game, that final night, knowing that there was absolutely nothing I could have done to put myself any further ahead. Like I left so much out there on the table that there was literally nothing more I could have done, and anything less than what I did I would have lost. Right. So
right. Well, I wonder. I want people to ask themselves. You didn't ask to be voted out. Like, you didn't ask to go to Edge of Extinction. So,
I thought I was playing a good game.
Yeah, all you wanted to do, and it's so funny, Chris, because the one thing I do remember when you did get voted out, you were like, screw those guys. And I was like, yeah, screw those guys.
Yes, I was like, thought I was playing great, but, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And to all the people, I hope everyone out there watching, like, if you didn't like the Edge of Extinction, please, at least give it a little more love after last night's episode, because that is the perfect, the epitome of the Edge of Extinction was that segment of them fighting and crying and, pushing through adversity, because it is so much more mentally taxing, and you're in such a darker place than you are when you're in the tribe still in game. And to do something like they did was amazing. So, if anyone says, hey, did you deserve it? Be like, did you see that episode?
Seriously. No, and that's the thing that I think that they're doing so great with Winners of War is they are showing more of Edge, which gives the viewers more connectivity to Edge and really lets people see how much of the game, because we saw some of Edge on your Extinction, but not as much, not nearly as much as we're seeing now. So I really think it allows the audience to connect the dots more and be like, oh, okay, if they come back in the game, yes, they do deserve to win. But again, you deserve your win. We are so proud of you. I want to know what you've been up to since you played.
So, 2 weeks before, or actually, let's go back. 3 weeks after we got back from the Edge, or from my season, I proposed to my girlfriend at the time. Then we planned a wedding. Then 2 weeks before the finale, we got married.
Oh my
Our
God.
honeymoon was scheduled. Yeah, our honeymoon was scheduled the week after the finale, and then right after we got back, we moved to Chicago, and I continued working in solar as a sales rep for the solar company I was in. And then, yeah, like we were there for 6 months. We thought we were going to be there longer, and we realized how much we hate the snow and hate the cold.
Yes, I hear that.
So we decided to come back to the South, and we took a little bit of time in January and did a road trip. Went all the way from South Carolina to San Francisco, California.
Oh,
and back.
wow.
Yeah, we did a whole trip. Right now, we're renovating that camper, and we're gonna rent it out for like beachgoers and stuff here in South Carolina. And yeah, like this year, there's a lot of different business ideas that are going on. I may be getting into some different industries, but we're taking it day by day.
That's awesome. Sounds like you guys have had a busy, busy time since you played.
We go like 1,000 miles a second at all times. It's crazy.
That's awesome, though, because I feel like that's when you really land on something. You find your home. Got to keep it moving. Got to keep things interesting.
Yep.
All right, so let's get into a little bit of winners at war questions. If you were on this season, who would you align with and who would you target?
I would have to say that I would probably align with players like Wendell, players like Adam, players like Ben. I see there's a lot of power like in community and in oneness, right?
Yes.
We take that for granted, even like socially, right? Like you want to hang out with people that are like you.
Yes.
And new school versus old school is like, it is kind of a thing.
It's a
like,
thing. Yeah, it's a thing.
Who's on the edge of extinction right now?
Oh.
All pre-30 players.
Yeah.
Like it is a thing.
It's a thing.
And so I would align myself with players that I could have an instant rapport with, or like a unity with, saying it's us against them. We got to stick together. That's really important to have in the tribal or the alliance format of playing Survivor. So one of the new school players, I would definitely say would be Ben, Adam, or Michelle.
Yeah, I love
Maybe
Michelle. She's killing it.
Sure.
Who else? Who else did you say?
Nick,
yeah, definitely. I'm so glad that Nick survived that episode. I want to touch on what you were saying too. I think that when you do sort of build alliances, it really does boil down to who do you connect with the most? Who do you relate to the most? Who do you want to hang out with for 39 days? Thank you so much for tuning in, Talent Recappers and Survivor fans. We want to know what you guys at home think. Do you think Tyson deserved to go home? Did you like what you saw with Ethan and Adam in terms of determination? What are your questions for Mr. Underwood? Chris, I want to know, where can the people find you on social? What is your social media account?
you go to under.woods right now, or just hit me up on Twitter. And just follow my story, follow my wife's story. We've got a great. Please go follow my wife as well, man. She's an incredible artist, and she's working on a lot of like individual commission art pieces. So if you're looking for something to hang on your wall, at Kate Warner Creations, she'd love the support.
Yeah, I actually want to second that at Kate Warner Creations because her stuff is adorable. She's got athletic wear. It is so cute. I want some. Kate, I'm going to follow you, girl, so I can get one too. You can follow me on Instagram at Lauren Ashley Beck. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. And that was your Survivor Talent Recap.